Every year I've thought the tournament was wide open and somebody strange could win. It seems to have gone chalk. I've learned my lesson. This year, I'm picking chaos early, order late. Here are my picks for how the first week shakes out to the Sweet 16, then the Elite 8 and Final 4 next week, and finally, the last 3 games in San Antonio on March 31st and April 2nd. Seeds are included before the teams. East, assuming one Villanova can navigate through a first 4-16 seed, it arrives on Saturday against either 9 Alabama or 8 Virginia Tech. I think the Cats should hope for Bama, but I think they'll get Tech, and that's an awfully challenging game for a first weekend. I'll nod to Jalen Brunson and the boys for the Sweet 16, but Buzz Williams' team will not give them an easy entree. Down bracket, we need one upset to arrive at an awfully interesting second-round battle. I see 5 West Virginia is too tough for 12 Murray State, but 13 Marshall versus Greg Marshall is another matter. Could John Elmore and the Thundering Herd upend for Wichita State? Probably asking too much, but that game won't lack for entertainment. I like Huggy Bear and press Virginia to survive the weekend. But what in tarnation could happen if they meet Marshall at Huntington, WV, in, of all places, San Diego? Hide your women and children, surfers. On the other side of the East bracket, I'm picking my first upset, and I'm doing it from a first 4 springboard. I like 11th Street Bonaventure to come out of a Dayton scrap with far-flung 1-1 UCLA on Tuesday night, then board a plane for Dallas and fell 6 Florida on Thursday. Crazy. VCU did this, remember, and made a the F4 a few years back. Alas, I think 3 Texas Tech on a third game in 5 days is probably a bridge too far for the Bonnies. The Red Raiders emerged from Dallas, having already subdued 14 Steve Austin in a Little Texas shootout. At the bottom of the East bracket, we have another possible interstate match of intrigue with 2 Purdue on a collision course with 10 Butler. And it's an easy wagon train up to Detroit for the entire state of Indiana. Not that I'm at all nuts about the Boilers, but Carson Edwards alone gives them enough to beat either the Bulldogs or maybe 7 Arkansas. That's the end of the line for the Boilermakers, as 3 Texas Tech's superior athleticism and formidable defense locks them up in Boston, while 1 Nova survives the press with poise, then, guns up, drops their weapons. All considered, a pretty easy hand ride to San Antonio for the Wildcats, although Keenan Davis and the Raiders will test them in the regional final. South, the top of the South region is easy chalk for 1 Virginia. The 16 Maryland Baltimore County has athletes and might even scare the Cavaliers for a half. The Sunday match with 8 Creighton or 9 Kansas State really shouldn't be a challenge for a team that scores more easily than Tony Bennett's previous NCAA teams have. Cavs make it to Atlanta. Meanwhile, I'm picking 11 Loyola to shock the world, or at least Dallas, and knock out 6 Miami. I'm on the verge of even picking the Ramblers to upset 3 Tennessee and Rick Barnes on Saturday. Okay, there, I'm doing it. Ramblers and their Iowa State transfer Clayton Custer to the second week after not making the tournament at all for 33 years. For Arizona's 7-1 DeAndre Ayton is looking like the best player in college basketball lately. Plus, it would be just like Sean Miller to finally make a Final Four merely to spite ESPN. I'll take Zona all the way through hot and talented 5 Kentucky and come out of Boise unscathed. Down bracket, I like 2 Cincinnati to cruise through Nashville without much of a sweat, beating up either 10 Texas or a 7 Nevada team that could not have looked much worse in its disinterested Mountain West tournament performance. UC on to Atlanta. And here, we have 2 elite-level coaches in Miller and Bennett, each of whom has chased, and never quite caught that elusive first Final Four. I'll take a flyer on Anger being an energy and for Arizona making it through to San Antonio. Midwest, what's it like to predict a shocking upset and have it happen? I don't mean a 14-3 game. I mean a 16-1. I've known one person in my life who made such a prediction and watched it happen live before his eyes. It was Tim May of the Columbus Dispatch who chose, in print, 48-1 underdog James Buster Douglas to upset Mike Tyson in their heavyweight championship fight in February 1990. Then, he traveled to the Tokyo Dome and saw it unfold pretty much as he envisioned it. Now, people have said Timbo is a smidge the homer on occasion. But I know full well, he meant his pick, he wasn't just making it for effect. So, here goes, I'm picking the 16 seed.